Steamroller considered himself an awful man, a criminal, a failure. He'd just left his wife, well, ex-wife now, and his children. He'd fled a criminal syndicate he had once worked for, not wanting to be captured with the rest of them. He wanted a good life. He wanted to be a hero. His birth name wasn't even Steamroller. It was Milton. But heroes weren't called Milton. So he took on the moniker of Steamroller. But even heroes could go hungry. Many years ago, Steamroller was a fisherman. That was an honest life. And even in the criminal syndicate, between the boat burnings and blackmail, he'd cook up some fish. So he thought it'd just be a simple way to quench his hunger. But he was wrong. He felt a massive tug on the other end of the line. A massive, amphibious monster leapt out, jaws dripping with blood. Steamroller tried to run, but the beast was quicker. With one sharp movement, the Leviathan stabbed out one of his eyes. Steamroller thought this would be the end of his life. Fish food. But he was very wrong. A figure lunged from the tree, striking the monster. He wore an ornate mask, dressed in monastic clothes, and moved like the wind. This was an air genasi, a monk named Vell. He was just passing by, but he came in to save this defenseless stranger. He quickly punched the monster, and realizing he was outmatched, the monster retreated, slinking back into the water. He picked up Steamroller and eventually brought him back to the monastery. Chalky told him that this was a place where he could start a new life, so Steamroller agreed. For years they trained. Steamroller was under Nimbus, an air genasi woman, and Chalky trained under a man named Stormclaw. Chalky was always stronger, but he still became best friends with Steamroller. One day there was a massive celebration within the monastery, banners set up, hubbub, and large banquet table set out. "What's this?" Steamroller asked. "It's a competition, a tournament. They say the winners will be given an important task by the leaders of the monastery." "Winners, eh? So it's like a tag team thing?" "Mm-hmm." "Let's work together then." "Fine." So after fighting through the ranks, Chalky and Steamroller winning together. Nimbus and Stormclaw gave them their mission, to find the Book of Inner Alchemy, a special magical book stolen from their monastery. The duo headed off, but along the way they took on a new mission, a job to save some kidnapped people from a band of goblins, a new adventuring party. With this they met the orcish fighter Pork and the Leonin barbarian Lothar. They did some missions together, getting coin and establishing their reputation. In a way, Steamroller really enjoyed the team members, but chafed against them ethically. For instance, when the crew burned down a tavern full of bandits, he stayed away. But he still loved the team. He and his friends grew stronger. One day, Chalky was able to defeat a monkish master, a grappling monk, a cowboy who wrangled rhinos. He became a dynamo monk, a type of monk who was an expert in pinning, slamming, and spinning kicks. While Steamroller had a chance encounter under a full moon, a mystical figure with pointy ears and pale blue skin, he became a moondrop monk, a monk which could control water and ice. Lothar became a zealot barbarian, and Pork became a cavalier who rode upon the back of a rhino, something he got from the aforementioned rhino monk cowboy. But everything went south one day, as they delved into a dungeon filled with undead and goo. Chalky split from the group, delving into a room full of skeletons. Pork and Lothar were arguing. I should go." Steamroller ran in after Chalky. Eventually, Pork and Lothar followed, but they were too late. The undead swarmed around them, and soon Steamroller died, his body stabbed open by a zombie with a shovel. Still, Chalky finished them off. "God damn it, Steamroller, if you had just stayed put, I had it! I could have killed them on my own." Chalky stood up as Pork and Lothar entered. "This is your fault. His death was preventable." "Our fault? You shouldn't have gone in without us." "Let him grieve. Let him do what he needs to do. But you know, Chalky, finger-pointing will never fix this," Lothar said. Chalky picked up Steamroller's body, laying it upon the party's cart. "I'm going back to the monastery. They must know a way to bring him back." So with that, he left. Pork and Lothar eventually found new allies, Steamroller's son, a water genasi paladin rogue named Crasher, an Aasimar archer named Penello, and an Aasimar wizard named Archie. "We will be team, alive and well," Lothar said. "No one else in our team will die. We'll all be well." Weeks later, Chalky eventually returned to the monastery, meeting up with Stormclaw. "You returned. Did you find it?" "I found the book, but it isn't enough." "I have a new mission for you. A monk master who went rogue, a Leonin who can shoot blasts of flames. He's been killing innocents." So Chalky headed out again, eventually finding this Leonin serial killer, and after a hard fight he defeated him, gaining a new fiery power. But this wasn't enough. It wouldn't bring back Steamroller. If he was to do that, he needed to find more monk masters, defeating them and earning their powers.